Everybody like, hey, are you ready to go? Ready to go. Everybody like, hey.
Alright, what is good, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So, as you can see from the title, as you can see from the thumbnail, as you can probably see from this random ass Bleach gameplay on your screen right now, we're gonna be talking about why we need a new Bleach game. Now sooner than ever, okay? We've been needing a new Bleach game for a very long time. Alright, and I'm sure I've never really talked much about Bleach on any of my channels before. I really never got the chance, but Bleach is one of my top 10, like top 5 even debatably, because I like shonen a lot. I love shonen to death, and Bleach has the aesthetic of everything that I would ever want in a series of my own, okay? I've grown up with a lot of anime. I've grown up with a lot of shonen, Dragon Ball, Naruto, yada yada yada. However, Bleach has an energy that other shonen doesn't have, really. And I like that a lot. Alright, these characters, I love everything about Bleach. I love the aesthetics, I love the concepts. Everything about Bleach is everything. It's just such a good mix to me. It's such a good mix to me. And so I've fallen head over heels for Bleach as a series. And one of these days, I'm hoping, you know, one of these days soon, eventually, we're going to be hopping back in with a brand new season. It's going to be fire. I've very much heavily debated just reading the manga and just getting head on things. But we'll see how things play out. It'll probably be a long time before this new season comes out. But, so, I might give in. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that's beside the point. Right now, we're waiting on a new season of Bleach because we know Mappa is taking care of that next arc for us. And we know what power Mappa has, alright? They just finished recently the next season for, I think, the final half of the other season for Attack on Titan Part 2, assuming, you know, it's upcoming this January, I believe. And then they also are working on Chainsaw Man. Don't know how far along they are with that. I was hearing it was supposed to come out this year. I'm not really sure. I hope to God these people get the time and rest that they need to work on it and, you know, freaking sleep, for God's sakes. Alright, these people have lives, man. So whatever the case may be, hopefully, you know, Bleach is on the horizon at some point within the next couple of years. We'll see what happens, but Lord knows I'm gonna be around for it. But the thing is that, you know, we've got much like me, we've got some very passionate Bleach fans that are just hella impatient and waiting for the drip god Ichigo to make his return to the big screen with the fresh cut and everything. Alright? Because that last mini arc, it was good, but it wasn't enough. Alright? It was actually, no, scratch that, it was fire. That was a fire last arc for the animated series. But man, we wanted more just like that, and it just felt like we needed more like that. It sucks. It doesn't suck. It was phenomenal. I just want more Bleach so bad it's not even funny. So, I'm impatient. I'm really happy that Bleach is getting a new season though. So I was thinking a lot, you know, because, you know, I want more Bleach, and I was thinking, you know, what's the best way to appease this need for Bleach? Do I just read the manga, be done? What do I do with this? And I was thinking, oh, I want a video game. I want a Bleach video game. And I just wanted to talk about just concepts and characters and things like that I've thought of for this possibility of a Bleach game, because if there's any other shonen that I could think of that deserves a real game, it's definitely Bleach, okay? So, let's start getting into things a little bit here. Here's why I feel like we need a Bleach game now, especially more than ever. Hopefully very soon, alright? So like I said, we're getting a whole ass new season of Bleach animated very, very soon. It'll probably take some time. It may be in the works right now. Maybe they're still in the planning process. I have no idea. They probably got a lot to work out, and it's probably going to be a while until we see this next season of Bleach, because Mappa is overloaded. They're making bank, but good lord, they are overloaded with projects for the next couple of decades, most likely. So, we'll see what plays out when it plays out, okay? But I think that in the best way to advertise a series of any kind is a really high quality video game, especially if that series has leverage and if it has some really good meat on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, Demon Slayer. Great leverage, good meat. All right, very high quality, high grade meat. All right, I know that that's a weird way of putting it. I understand, but hear me out, okay? Demon Slayer got crazy popular within only a couple of months. It has so much merchandise. It got a movie and it got a video game, okay? And it got the big movie and the video game right before its second season started. Both did phenomenally, by the way, because they were released at a proper time. All right, they made sure to absolutely properly capitalize on the hype of Demon Slayer, which is why the movie, I think it was really that movie helped out a lot. We had no idea what that movie was gonna be about. We saw this character Rengoku, who the hell is that? Whatever. And then we get closer and we're like, oh no, this goes dummy, bro. No, there were no games to be played at all when it came to that movie. All right, they took good care of it. All right, movie came out, everybody's hyped up for this next season. We had no idea what was coming. All right, in the midst of waiting, they were hyping us up about a game. What better way to spend our time than a fighting game? We go online, we battle, we play Smash Brothers, bro. We've been playing Naruto for years, bro, for decades almost. A Demon Slayer game? Right in the midst of the hype, y'all did phenomenal, okay? Now, like I said, I did my review of the Demon Slayer game already. It was a little bit watered down in comparison to their previous works. However, for the most part, it's still a very good, high-quality game. They made sure to grab the right company for this, all right? They knew what they were doing, and they did a great job. All in all, that Demon Slayer game is going to go down in history as probably the best Demon Slayer game. I highly doubt that there's anything that's going to top it. Hinokami Chronicles 2, that's going to be a buster, baby. That's going to be a buster. So, we have that now, right? And so that just really made me think about Bleach. And I'm like, well, it's not exactly the perfect time exactly for Bleach, because it's been very quiet. It's been very quiet with Bleach for a very long time now. The only thing that we got recently was like some kind of weird one-shot. I haven't read it yet, and I don't want to read it just yet. I need to make sure, I need to see where that sits in the timeline to make sure I don't get spoiled for anything, because if it takes place in the midst of the manga, anywhere after the anime, or after where the anime ended, sorry, then I might be screwed. And I don't want to play around with that. So I'm going to be easy on that. However, as weird as it sounds, I still think that it would be more beneficial for them to start easing into some kind of big Bleach game right now. All right, start generating the hype as soon as possible. If you guys are if they were in early development, just give us little snippets and screenshots. People will see that. All right, the people on Twitter will do their thing for Bleach. I promise you, there is not one time where Bleach has been mentioned for me on Twitter and anybody complained. Everybody likes Bleach, bro. I've never seen anybody complain about Bleach. Bleach definitely has its problems, and I feel like it's definitely recognized that, and I feel like we as a collective have recognized that Bleach is not perfect. We understand. However, we still like it for what it is. We still love Bleach, which is why we would love to play a game. And if we see any kind of screenshots or anything regarding a game, oh man, people about to lose their minds over that, okay? So, Bleach still has potential. It has a lot of meat on it. All right, right now its leverage is a little weak because it's been very quiet for a long time. But Bleach as a series, as a whole, as a series, it just has good meat. Has high quality meat. You see what I'm saying? It's got a lot going for it. So, start advertising a Bleach game now. You're gonna be golden, baby, by the time it releases. I can guarantee you that, right? Now, here's my next thing. My main next thing is why, is just simply the fact that this does not apply to me specifically, by the way. This is just for the general public speaking, because this is just, I'm just looking at it from a different angle, okay? I gotta look at it from somebody who doesn't watch anime exactly as hard as I do, but they wouldn't mind getting more into anime just to watch, to read, to play, things like that. Alright, there are people that got introduced to Demon Slayer through the game, whatever. The game was a phenomenal recap. Guess what? We need something, a little something that could serve as a decent recap for the series, okay? Because if you have something like that, that's a lot more fun and engaging as opposed to somebody just sitting there watching maybe 300 plus episodes, because there's still a lot of episodes even if you skip all of the filler. That filler might even be good. I have no idea. I've never watched the filler. I might rewatch the filler. Anyway, aside from that, there's got to be a better way for people to recap the story besides either reading hundreds upon hundreds of chapters or watching the anime, which, you know, obviously is highly recommended, but some people just aren't like that. Maybe they want to get into the new shiny season of Bleach, but they don't really care to start the anime right from the, from the beginning. All right, it do be a little on the older side, and that's okay. You know, I think it still looks good for what it was for its time. You know, it definitely got better looks throughout the years, but it do be a little on the older side, and I can understand that, which is why there are some people that wouldn't want to, get into that. Look at me with Tower of God, bro. I'm never reading Tower of God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll watch the anime, but I can't read that. I can't read that webtoon, bro. So that's just an example, okay? So if we had some kind of game that could properly, decently recap the story as we know it, that would be grand. Grand for the series. Alright, people could get into it with no hesitation. They could go into this game. They could just be looking for a new game to play. They see this new shining. Oh, this looks fire. I want to get into this. And they play it and they're like, oh, is this Bleach? This is how Bleach operates, huh? I kind of like this. Maybe I'll look into the anime. Maybe I'll look into the manga. Maybe if the story is good enough and, properly fleshed out within this game, I could just play the game and then catch up on the anime when it comes out with that new season. Just saying, though, not the highest way to do things in my personal recommendation. However, I gotta look at it from a money aspect, and obviously they're not gonna put something out if they're not making money on it, because that would be a waste of their time. However, as a money-making strat, it's there. It's there. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Now, I did have another point, but I have to get moving because otherwise we're gonna be here for another hour or two, and I don't want that. So let's start talking about the developers I could possibly want on any of these random Bleach projects. Okay, number one, or actually before I even get into that, there are a couple of genres that could only fit for Bleach. Okay, one of them would be obviously a fighting game. Okay, because fighting anime, I don't know what it is, but when it comes to anime games, if it's not a fighter, it doesn't matter. So that's just the age we live in now, and it's very weird. But a fighting game is one. An adventure thing is its own thing, like an adventure game, maybe a platformer. I don't know why you would set it up as a platformer, but go off, chief, if you decided to do something like that. I can't really stop you. It's your money. And there was another one I had. What's the other genre? Can't remember. Doesn't really matter anymore. Either a fighting game or a adventure game. Whatever you guys got to do, make it happen, Captain. Or an RPG of some kind, maybe like a turn-based situation. I didn't even think about that. That would actually be super fire. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose my mind. But I'll get into that another day. I'll get into that another day. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So anyway, so let's focus on whether it would be a fighting game or an adventure game. Okay. What I want to talk about now is the developers that would do this, one of these two games, justice. Okay. Now, obviously, we're going to throw in CyberConnect 2 first because they're the big boys that are responsible for some of the most legendary, fighting arena games that we know to this day. Especially because all of the games that they've worked with that have to do with anime are shonen. Okay. They've done all the best Naruto games, all the way up until Storm 4. Okay, they did the JoJo's Eyes of Heaven game, which actually is phenomenal. I wish I knew about JoJo's back in the day. Okay, but I know now, and I'm still kind of mad at myself, but whatever. I feel like it's too late for that. But JoJo's, they did Dragon Ball Kakarot, which was actually, it wasn't even just a fight. It wasn't even like a fighting game. Like, it wasn't like a 1v1 online, whatever. It was just straight up RPG, like just big open world action RPG. What? Okay, dope. Sick as hell. We rock with it. Dope. And guess what? You could say whatever you want about Dragon Ball Kakarot. That was a phenomenally made game. Phenomenally. Like, they know how to stick with that story. They really do. But either way, okay, I don't want to dive too much into that. Anyway, so Dragon Ball Kakarot, and most recently, Demon Slayer: The Hinokami Chronicles, which is popping off right now. You got people making TikToks about it. People have been fighting online. Everybody's hyped up for the new characters that's going to come out probably within a couple of days. I don't know when this video is going up, but by the time this video is up, the characters could be out. Okay? And that's a free-ass update. We don't even have to pay for it yet. Godlike. CyberConnect 2, they know how to stay faithful to a story, and they know how to accurately depict characters, transferring them from anime or manga to video game. They know how to do it. So CyberConnect, those are the biggest trustworthy people to handle the situation if we were to get some kind of fighting game, whether it be an arena fighter or whatever. Okay. Next up, let's talk for a second about Arc Systems. Okay. Now, their feats when it comes to anime games aren't exactly as wide as CyberConnect's, because they're mostly known for like Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue, which are anime-esque. They're there, kind of, but for the most part, they're not like, you know, they're not insane on that level like CyberConnect is. However, they are very well known, especially right now, for Dragon Ball FighterZ. They did an amazing job with Dragon Ball FighterZ, okay? Very passionate, well-made 2D to 3D fighting game with awesome animations, accurate characters, an amazing art style that people will literally never get sick of because it is just so clean and so hard at the same time. It's so godlike. It's very well made, okay? It's awesome. And, you know, if we were to get some kind of 2D fighting game, they are who I would trust, all right? They could do it. All right, and even then, they did work on another anime game. Actually, they did do Kill la Kill If, which is an arena fighter that's very weirdly accurate to you know, everything Kill la Kill. If you know what that is, hopefully you know what that is. I swear to God, bro. But anyway, they worked on Kill la Kill If, and it is just so accurate, art style wise, character wise, story wise. It just gets everything, and it's very well made. And unfortunately, that is, as much as I want to put that in their primary feats, the only reason it didn't do well is because it just released at a bad time. So, you know, Kill la Kill's been over forever now, and it was too late. But it is what it is. What's done is done. They've got Guilty Gear. They're not struggling. I promise you, they are not struggling. But either way, Kill la Kill is actually a very good game, all right? And you got to make sure to note that because they know what they're doing with anime games as well, all right? It's no CyberConnect, that story and the quick time events. It's not like that. It's not as flashy, but they can still do a pretty bang-up job. So I trust Arc Systems almost as much as CyberConnect. Not quite, but mostly, okay? Now, I also want to mention Dimps. Okay, now Dimps is, they're responsible for a lot of Dragon Ball games as well. I've known them most recently for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. They may have had other projects, but obviously Xenoverse 2 is the only one that I care about that I can think of right now. But I know for a fact they have worked on previous Dragon Ball games outside of the Xenoverse series. But anyway, we'll talk about that another day. For now, I'm going to throw Dimps in there. We'll talk about why in a minute, okay? Alright, so let's talk about game styles right now. Okay, let's talk about the potential game styles for a Bleach game. And this is where we'll end it off for now. I will talk more in depth, especially about that Bleach RPG, bro. Don't get me started, bro. I'm hyping myself up. So let's talk about it. First, we have a potential arena fighter. Okay, now this is a very standard, overdone situation when it comes to anime games. However, all of us and our mothers can agree that it simply just works. The only reason they always end up as arena fighters is because there's really nothing better to do. There really isn't, you know? Sure, you have your standard, you know, 2D fighters, whatever. 3D fighters have always worked for anime games, okay? Even Jump Force, all right? As much as that game kind of irks people, me included in some aspects, we all have to admit the fighting was clean. It was fun. It was, okay? There's actual, you know, there's a little bit of competitiveness there. There's some strategy to be taken into account when it comes to fighting a real opponent online and things like that. As much as I, you know, hate to admit it, Jump Force is it still has a lot of potential. Okay, if we were to ever get Jump Force 2, I'm probably gonna pick it up day one because it just has that much potential as a big crossover series. All right, especially for all the big shonen. All right, when we see Tanjiro in that next one, ain't nobody playing no games, bro. Ain't nobody playing no games. Don't ever doubt that. So, in Arena Fighter, it works. And this is the one thing that I know that nobody would be opposed to when it comes to any kind of anime fighting game at all, because it's the best we got. And I feel like it's time for Rukia and Ichigo to hop out of something and into their own Arena Fighter that's not Jump Force. They're some of the best characters in Jump Force. They're clean, they've got a great moveset, they're very high tier from what I remember. Those are some good characters. Put them in their own damn game. Let them have their own game first, for Christ's sakes, man. We haven't had a Bleach game in forever. They need an Arena Fighter, okay? And I think they deserve a little bit better than Jump Force. And obviously, when it comes to Arena Fighters, this is CC2's specialty. CyberConnect 2, they know how to do it with Arena Fighters, and they know how to make a story even if it is just a basic Arena Fighter. Alright? We're leaving it to them. They know what they're doing. They know what to do with Arena Fighters, just balancing with fighting other characters. They know what to do with bosses if they do a story mode. They take care of it. They take good ass care of it. Okay? Like I always say. And I trust them with my life if they were to, make that happen. So if we were to get some kind of Arena Fighter, I'd be totally okay with that. We would leave that in CC2's hands, no questions asked, okay? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Next, we have the possibility of a possible 2D fighter, okay? And obviously, this is where Arc Systems would, come in. And me personally, I'm not as into 2D fighters. Like, it took me a while to really start to care or give a shit about Dragon Ball FighterZ even. Like, I picked it up. I played the beta and I did pick it up day one, but I played through the story and I played online a little bit, but I wasn't really, like, crazy about it like that. I didn't play it for as long as I thought I would. I even played Demon Slayer for longer than I thought I would. But Dragon Ball FighterZ, it's good. It's very well made, and I appreciate everything about it. It just wasn't me. But I digress. Arc Systems would be able to find a way to make it faithful if they were to do that very unique 2D to 3D style that they know that nobody else knows how to do better. They have a crazy unique way of transferring that 2D to 3D style. Alright, and look at Fighters, it still captures the essence of Dragon Ball just in its art style alone, all of its animations. It's Dragon Ball Z to a T. They knock it out of the park with that. And those animations for their ultimates, their specials, even their regular attacks look phenomenal. Alright? And they even managed to make up a unique story just for that game. That it wasn't great or anything like that. It was actually kind of bummy, but for the most part I still appreciate what they did with it because that was effort, and I appreciate that effort a lot. So if there's anybody that knows how to make a 2D fighter with the proper Bleach characters, to balance it out, I would leave it to Arc Systems. Alright, Arc would be the best to make this 2D to 3D, have Ichigo fighting Aizen, you know what I'm saying, on these different, they can do it. They can do it. They could catch, if there's anybody I know that could probably capture Bleach at the very least, if not Cyber, leave it to Arcs. Leave it to Arcs. And even if you still wanted to make an Arena Fighter, but you didn't want to pay that CC2, who's busy with Demon Slayer right now, hey, Arc Systems still knows how to make those 3D arenas too. Guess what? We have a Fire Killer Kill game that's an Arena Fighter that looks great. So, just saying, it's not like you don't have options if you work with Arc Systems. You could be a 2D, it could be a 3D arena, you can make it happen. Captain, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So, I'll leave that to you to think about, okay? Now, my last thing, while this isn't exactly what I meant when I said RPG earlier, I'm going to throw in the possibility, this is my final thought, of an MMO. Okay, now when I say MMO, I'm not talking like Black Desert Online or anything like that. Hell no. I'm talking a much simpler situation, okay? And when I say that, I'm talking... Now, hear me out. Bleach has done a great job of world building. It's got a lot of characters. It's very big. It's got a very big world. It's got a lot of unique characters to talk to and interact with. An MMO style, very much like that of Dragon Ball Xenoverse, who was created by Dimps that I mentioned earlier, would be phenomenal. if Dimps could take control and give us some big MMO with custom characters and things like that, you know, create your own. Do they call in I think in the sub they call them Shinigamis, right? I forgot what the Soul Reaper. Jesus, I don't know why I blanked on that so hard. Create your own Soul Reaper type situation would be kind of sick. All right, master a unique style in the way of the sword, whatever, you know. They can do it. They can do it. They've got a lot to work with. It would probably take a, frankly, honestly, I could see that taking a much longer time than anything that CyberConnect. I mean, I know that I'm not saying that either one of these style or any one of these styles of games would be easier or more simple to make, but something tells me that if they were to make some kind of MMO for Bleach in the style of Xenoverse, it would take a very long time, but it would be super worth it because they've just got such a big open world to work with. They got so many unique characters to just mess around with that if taken proper care of, man, it could last as long, if not longer, than Xenoverse, because Xenoverse is still kicking hard. People have been begging for Xenoverse 3 for years now, and guess what? They're still releasing DLC. And people are mad about it, but guess what? They're still picking that bitch up because the game is still fire. The game is still fire. People are still fighting online. And see, that's the thing. It doesn't even have to look exactly like an arena fighter. It doesn't have to be that simple like Naruto or JoJo's or whatever. It can still be a Bleach MMO where you fight a ton of enemies on the screen, but guess what? We can still, in Xenoverse, we can still go online and we can fight other people that have built up their own skill sets and things like that, or if they want to use a character from the series. Mess around with it, man. Mess around with it. We can make that happen, right? Come on now, bro. Alright. And another example would obviously be like Shinobi Strikers, but I don't like Shinobi Strikers. I don't. I try to look at Shinobi Strikers and just really give it a shot, but I can't. I've played it before. I just don't care for it. But it is a phenomenal example. And unfortunately, I have to admit, Shinobi Strikers is a good example of another MMO that it could take example of. I would prefer it if we were in something in the style of Xenoverse 2, where we have custom characters, we have a nice open world that we can interact with, you know, maybe other masters that we can learn from to, you know, develop our own, you know, unique styles and technique for our characters, whatever we gotta do. I trust that whoever would be in charge of something like that could do it some real justice. It could do it some real justice, you know? And it could be a very long-lasting game, even longer lasting than any arena fighter, any 2D fighter, any just basic fighting game. A big MMO like that, that's always getting touched up on every now and again with new Bleach characters, new styles, well, just whatever. There's so much you can work with there. There's so much you can work with that it would be a tragedy to not take advantage of that, especially with a new season coming out, and we've got these new Soul Reapers and things like that we're going to meet, these new enemies, these new adversaries. It would be a fire time. Fire time. So we'll talk about that another day. So I had to stop myself. I had to rush a little bit there, and I am sorry. I am down to talk more in depth about something like this. You know, more specifics on each individual part, but you know, y'all just gotta let me know if that's something that you guys are down to talk about, because I've been missing Bleach a lot. I want to talk more about Bleach. I want to play more Bleach. I'm probably about to get into Brave Souls now because I just downloaded it for the sake of gameplay, but now I'm kind of into it, so it might be a problem right now, but I guess we'll learn that as we go. But anyway, like I said, if you guys are super down, let me know in the comment section below, because I'm always down there with you guys. I do want to hear you guys' opinions when it comes to the possibility of a new Bleach game. I want to talk more about this, but with that, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to get the hell up out of here before we pass up that 30 minutes. So, on that note, I would like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this. And with that, I'm outro. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor, taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!